Are the heart-healthy oils that you choose to eat every day actually damaging your health? Maybe making you fat and sick? I'm not saying you're fat and sick, but if you eat enough of these seed oils, that's going to be the result. I know. Hey, I'm Eileen. I'd never heard the term seed oil before either, not till maybe 3 years ago. That's when I realized I had developed symptoms of Alzheimer's. I had to retire early. I did some research into what I could do to slow my decline, and instead, I discovered that I could reverse the worst of my symptoms simply through a clean low carb diet. And a big part of this diet is getting rid of the seed oil. Seed oils are now the number one thing I look for when I pick up a package. What ingredients do you look for? What are you afraid of on packages? Let me know. I'm curious. Just drop a note in the comments. So, what are seed oils? Seed oils, despite their natural sounding name, they're anything but natural. They originated from uh, a clever use of industrial waste from processing cotton. Yeah, cotton seed oil became Crisco, right? Crisco shortening. They're vegetable oil is one of the names they carry, only in that they're not animal fat, right? They're not lard, they're not tallow, so they're vegetable. But there's very little vegetable or seed left. And while the seeds themselves can be healthy, and most seeds are, the process of turning them into oil involves, I'm going to check my notes here, high heat and chemical solvents like hexane and extensive refining. And this high heat and these chemical solvents strip these oils of any nutrients and produce harmful byproducts, making them far from the healthy fats they are marketed to be. The result is damaged oil, unstable fat, prone to oxidation. Terms like hydrogenated oil and refined oil indicate heavy processing, and avoid those at any cost. Now, there are some heart healthy or plant-based oils. I don't want to call them vegetable oils, plant-based oils made from avocados and olives and coconut. These plants are naturally fat, and it takes only limited processing to create oils from them, and those are healthy to consume. You might think, okay, great, I'll just swap out the canola oil in my cabinet for olive oil and I'll be good. Not really, because these seed oils are everywhere in the standard American diet. Ultra processed foods, it seems like I'm taking a side turn, but I'm not. UPFs, ultra processed foods, now make up nearly 60% of the American diet. They are found in 75% of what is offered on American grocery shelves, ultra processed foods. And ultra processed foods are made with carbs and seed oils and additives. I'm not saying everyone, but most ultra processed foods will be made with seed oils. You're going to find seed oils in crackers, in salad dressings, in cakes. You're going to find seed oils in sauces. You're going to find seed oils in mayonnaise. You're going to find seed oils in many foods that are labeled healthy. And if there's seed oil in there, they're not healthy. And that's the problem. The issue isn't just that there's a lot of seed oil out there, like, so what? What does it actually do to our health? Well, let me show you this little illustration. In the early 1900s, Americans didn't consume much seed oil, less than a pound per person. By 2020, we are eating 80 pounds of seed oil per person per year. This has been a boon for the seed oil industry and for the food industry, right? Because seed oil is dirt cheap, but it hasn't worked out so well for us in terms of health. This increase in seed oil consumption happens to coincide with skyrocketing obesity and chronic illness here in America. Now, we know that correlation is not causation, but it is hard to ignore the trend. As consumption of seed oil soared, so did chronic illness. One of the reasons for the popularity of seed oil is that we've been told for decades that the animal fat is unhealthy and that we need to swap to heart healthy margarine and heart healthy vegetable oils, that seed oils are healthy because they lower LDL, which is the bad cholesterol. But here's the kicker. The amount of LDL in your system is not the issue. It's the quality, it's the type of LDL. Your LDL is only hurting you if it's oxidized. Mhm. And guess what causes the oxidation of your LDL? You guessed it, the seed oils. Seed oils rich in omega-3 fats like linoleic acid. I'm checking my notes because I'm not a doctor, scientist, nutritionist. I just researched this a lot. Rich in omega-6 fats like linoleic acid are highly prone to oxidation, which means that while those seed oils may lower your cholesterol overall, they simultaneously increase your risk of heart and disease and other illnesses, promoting oxidized LDL and chronic inflammation. Now, if this were true, we would expect to find that heart disease has increased as seed oil consumption has increased. And this is exactly the case. Again, correlation isn't causation, but it is hard to ignore this trend. Important aside, perhaps the most critical driving factor of heart disease is smoking. Interestingly, there is a connection between seed oil and smoking. What? I'm going to quote from a white paper from Zero Acre Farms. Smoking also induces oxidative stress, induces insulin resistance, damages the arterial endothelial wall, and increases oxidized LDL. Yes, which means it causes the exact same kind of damage, smoking and seed oil consumption. But this is not only about heart health. The introduction of seed oils to our diet has shifted the natural balance of omega 6 to omega 3 fats in our diets to unhealthy levels, from a historic ratio of 1 to 1 to current ratios up to 20 to 1. And this imbalance fuels chronic inflammation, which underpins nearly every chronic disease. Heart disease, yes, but also Alzheimer's, autoimmune disorders, even some cancers, the list goes on. And let's just take a brief look into weight, because I think weight is an indicator of health. In 1960, around the time I was born, 10% of Americans were obese. Now that number is 40. 70% of us are overweight and 40% of us are obese. In 1958, less than 1% of the American population was diagnosed with diabetes. It now affects 37 million. I'm checking my numbers here. It now affects more than 37 Americans, with another 96 million classified as pre-diabetic. That's nearly half our population. Seed oils are not the solution promised. If they were, we would be in a lot better shape because the seed oil consumption has risen and we've had no positive outcomes from it. And yet, the internet is full of pro seed oil lobbyists debunking alarming concerns about seed oil consumption. Let's take a look at just a couple of those really quickly. Number one, we've talked about this already. It claims seed oils are heart healthy because they lower LDL. Again, it is not the amount of LDL you have, but the quality. And seed oils increase oxidation, and that is a problem. You will also hear that omega-6 linoleic acid is not inflammatory, but when it oxidizes, it creates a lot of problems in your body. And finally, we hear that seed oils must be safe because they are regulated by our government. The data says otherwise. Many endorsements reflect research funded by interested parties. Honestly, the sharp rise in chronic illness is hard to ignore. I mean, we got here slowly, like a frog being slowly boiled in a pot of water, right? It didn't happen overnight. So I think young people don't see it. But if there's anyone else out there as old as me, think back to your childhood. This was not the norm. All right, let's back up a step. Maybe you are young and you are healthy and you are not at all concerned about heart disease or Alzheimer's or any other kind of chronic illness, and you don't really want to give up your seed oil because it's problematic. It's everywhere. You can't really give it up without making a concerted effort. So what's in it for you? Well, let me answer that question with a question. Ever wonder why you can't stop at just one chip? Blame seed oils. Okay, yeah, carbs contribute too because carbs make you crave carbs, but also seed oils. Seed oils mess with your hunger hormones. Dr. Kate Shanahan explains that seed oils increase your body's demand for sugar, leading to increased cravings for processed carbs, refined sugars, sweets. This creates a vicious cycle of cravings and overeating and poor food choices and maybe that little extra weight around your midsection growing slowly every year. You have a weight loss goal? If you're still eating seed oils, you are sabotaging yourself, even without a weight loss goal. Imagine going through a day without feeling hunger, without feeling shaky, looking for your next meal, without craving another handful of chips or candy or popcorn. I, it's possible if you give up the seed oil and the carbs. You will notice a difference in your cravings immediately. This isn't a long-term thing. This is immediate. And that is the power of ditching your seed oils. Has anyone out there ever actually tried cutting out seed oils before? I mean, like, other than me? Well, I know many of you have. But anybody who's still watching at this moment, if you have, would you please do us a favor and share your experience in the comment? So, what is the solution? What can you do? It's a practical matter. Well, the hard truth is, it is nearly impossible to avoid seed oils unless you make an effort. The good news is, it's simpler than you think. Number one, go to your cupboards and swap out anything that's labeled corn oil, canola oil, vegetable oil, Crisco. Get rid of all of that and replace with avocado oil, olive oil, pure butter. Number two, when you're grocery shopping, you need to read those labels. Look for anything that contains soybean oil, corn oil, canola oil, vegetable oil, anything hydrogenated, anything refined, and leave it on the shelf. Just walk away, Renee. Don't carry that package back home. You're going to find you're leaving behind a lot of ready-made meals. That's okay. Make your own simple, delicious, clean, whole food meals at home. It's possible. It's simpler than you believe, and it will make an enormous difference in your health. Now, if you're overwhelmed, just start small. Just pick one thing to clean up. Just clean out your cupboard and give yourself a gold star. Or just vow to clean up your breakfast. Check your breakfast food. Make sure you're not eating any seed oils. Okay, next, then clean up your snacks one step at a time. If you like this baby step approach, I have a resource that you might be interested in. Check my description. There'll be a link there for you. My family rolls their eyes when I bring up this subject, but it is so critically important. Dr. Kate Shanahan says that a little bit of seed oil is way worse than any amount of sugar. So, you can't really think about getting healthy, even if you're eating low carbs, if you're still eating seed oil. Seed oil makes us hungry now and makes us sick later. There's no benefit. There's no benefit. Every drop of seed oil leads to a slow burning fire of chronic illness that you might not see today, but you won't want to discover tomorrow. Starting today, you can break the cycle by making simple swaps, cutting seed oil out of your life. My clean, meaning no seed oils, no additives, clean, low carb diet has made an enormous difference in my life. And I hope you will consider starting this journey for yourself as well. Thank you for your time today. Thank you for liking this video. And thank you for sharing it with someone who you think might need a little coaxing to step away from seed oils. Until next time, let's stay strong, wise, kind, and good by choosing good food for good health. YouTube thinks you'll like this video next.